So,
all right, take it away, John.
All right, we're going to do another episode of M5 Space Patrol, which is an homage to Star Trek. And on this, we find the scout ship, Roddenberry class, Europa, with a crew of 13, currently a crew of 12, traveling the Great Expanse, which is on the fringes of known galaxy. And right beyond that would be the Great Void. And the void is what we're going to be dealing with today. So the Europa crew is awaiting the arrival of their acting XO and an ambassador, and then they're going to start their mission. So if we can go around, we'll start with the captain, a quick introduction so people have a general idea of what we're looking at. Some of the names might be a little bit off, but basically the classic races as you see them, regardless of what they said is what they're going to be. So go ahead, Captain.
All right, so I am playing Captain Ravani Abrea. She is a Balanan, but very human-like in appearance, based off of the Betazoids of Star Trek, but not quite the same. Very similar. And yeah, she's had a long career in the Galactic Space Patrol. And she's only recently, though, been assigned to the Europa to replace their previous captain who has taken ill. So this will be my first mission. I look forward to getting to know the crew and see what their capabilities are.
Very good. The captain has a interesting combination of abilities with a touch-based ESP and touch-based empathy, which goes a long way. Many of their race end up doing medical and counselor type of positions. All right, so our acting XO who has not arrived on the ship yet, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm Alex. I'm playing Commander Kant, and he's a hard science nerd. He spent most of his career. He's a child of scientists, and he spent most of his career doing pure research, primarily in areas of power systems and drive and warp drive, basically. At one point, he realized that he could get more. He needed more hard, in-world experience, and so he decided to get into the fleet and get out into space, and decided that he actually kind of preferred it to being stuck in a lab all the time, and to deal with perhaps more practical problems of that you find out in the universe. So he's pretty relaxed, likes his coffee, and yeah, that's about it.
Very good. So we're going to go on to the next one in line, which will be Valcor, our security officer.
Valcor is a security officer. He's been stationed upon the ship for longer than anybody that has introduced himself so far. He's had some interesting experiences, both out in space and in a space station. And he's a loyal officer and seems to get the job done. So
very good. Valcor, the race that he's portraying is the Akleen, which are basically the Cardassian. And his specialty that he came up with during character creation was profiling. If a level 5 is a professional level person, he has a 9 in profiling, which is just an insane number. In a previous episode, he was able to profile somebody based on a short video that he watched of them. Okay, we're moving on to the other individual has not shown up yet, but will soon. The Nagasan Ambassador Nock.
Hello there. I'm and excited to get this voyage underway. The Nagasin have put a good amount of money into this, but I am a ambassador for the Nagasin Corporation. One of their corporations. I am here to see what is discovered and see what profit can be made from it.
All right, there we go. We got the basic roundup. We have the rest of the crew. There are, besides the XO who haven't arrived yet and the ambassador hasn't arrived yet, there are a total of 12 crew. The full complement is 13. The ship is in the image there above. And we're going to begin. So we find ourselves on the outskirts of the Great Expanse. The void looms in the far distance. And you're awaiting your new XO and the ambassador. The ambassador is coming on board to look forward for the interests of the Nagasin corporations, and they are in search of new tech. That's what they have guaranteed, that if new tech is discovered and the Nagasin can put their hands upon it, that they will double the discovery value of what the crew will receive for venturing into the void. The void presents a great deal of potential death and dismemberment, not necessarily in that order. Many ships do not return from the void. A scout ship had sighted a vast derelict in space and in the deep void, and they've already put their claim in for it, but they were on a different mission, so they could not explore further. Your ship is the closest one, and the captain has accepted in the name of the crew. So the crew can expect to get a 1.3% of the estimated potential value of the discovery as a survivor bonus, as a danger bonus, as it were. And then now we find ourselves with the one-shot shuttle making its way with Commander Kant at the helm and Ambassador Nock awaiting. And once they're on board, we'll begin. So Commander Kant is approaching the Europa.
Yeah, so Kent is just sort of sitting in his sitting in the pilot's seat. He's kind of rotated sideways, and he's talking to the ambassador, who's kind of sitting behind him. He's got his cup of coffee, and he says, "So you really pay for everything? Like everything?"
I mean, everything has a price. That coffee, you paid for that coffee there.
No, not really. It's we don't really use money in that way. But even if I did, but like everything.
You pay with your time. I pay with what's the currency in this universe?
Latinum, or well, I guess it might be something different.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I pay with the currency. You pay with your service to the Federation. We're all paying for things. I'm just honest about it. You lie to yourselves.
Do I though? Well,
but anyway, it's a lot easier to get your hands on things from other people if you have things they want.
Proximity alarms go off on the Europa as they have far sweeping sensors, and the small scout ship does not, and it's locked on. So whoever happens to be at the helm at this time, one assumes it's the captain.
At the helm of the Europa?
Yep.
I would assume that the patrolman Smith is at the helm and the captain's chair.
Patrolman Smith actually does the controls, but that means command.
Okay.
Command chair, as it were.
Yes, that's where I am indeed. Okay, so, all right, we'll pull it up. What's the alert? Run a scan.
The alert is that the one-shot ship that you were waiting for with Commander Kant and the ambassador is en route
Yes,
And
the
they-
shuttle. Okay.
the shuttle.
I see. Very well. Now, quick question. Sorry, I assume that there is a docking bay slash what would you call it? Like a
Shuttle bay.
Yes, you most certainly do.
Yeah. Is it a shuttle bay or a
I will shoot that up into the chat so everybody has access to the
airlock? That was the word I was looking for.
Yep, you have two of them. Let me throw that up into the chat aroo so everybody has
Looking
it.
at the size of the ship, and judging by the size of the bridge cutout that we have there. In fact, here I will make this bigger so anybody can see it for the moment. I'm guessing that we don't really have room for a shuttle bay. That it's more of a docking with an airlock type thing.
You have two shuttles, and the shuttle that's coming is a small, very efficient little runabout type shuttle. It's not meant as a one shot. You basically break it down and use the materials for other things once it gets on board.
In that case, if you look at the image of the ship, I'm guessing those kind of rectangular pieces on each side, port and starboard, would be the docking bays where the shuttles could pull into.
I'm pulling it up now.
Or do
I'm
you?
sending it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm putting it as we speak. 1 second.
Well,
Just finding the right one. I've got it right here. I'm sending it to the group chat
Facebook. Yep.
and sending. Yes, sir. And then I'm sending the second picture that shows the other one because there's two decks. There's actually a third deck. The bridge is a third deck. And
okay. Yes, this is very handy.
and-
Berthing port. That's exactly where I said it would be, isn't it? Berthing port starboard and berthing.
boom, there you go. There's the second deck. And then on the very top is the small deck that you see as displayed on your images right there. That small on the upper left-hand corner. That's directly on top.
Okay.
Sorry. Wait. What?
When you go back to the StreamYard image,
Upper deck and lower deck. Okay. Yeah. Back to.
that small little that shows the bridge crew.
Mm-hmm.
That's directly on top where you see the word Europa on the ship. It's just above that.
Oh, okay. So more central located. Yeah.
It's dead center on top.
Not,
Dead center on
not at
top.
the front. Gotcha. Okay, I see it there. Yeah. Okay, it's a little bit bigger than I thought then.
Yeah, it's a fairly big ship. I mean, there's a lot of it's taken up with engines and various. Yeah,
in that
both
case,
sides.
then, so now that I know a little bit more about the layout of the ship, and I will say, Lieutenant Commander Garn, you have the bridge.
Very good,
And
sir.
I will Lieutenant Valcor with me, and we're heading to whichever berthing port or berthing area they'll be docking with.
They will dock at the one, I assume, that you tell them to, Captain.
Okay, well, sure. Then, in that case, then send them to the starboard docking bay. And
Very
we'll
good.
see them there.
So as soon as I get the signal for that, I hear the beep of the comm, and I look up. Okay, we're almost there. I put my coffee in my little custom holder, and I plot my course to go to rendezvous with the starboard side of Europa, and just as soon as we're within visual range, I'll take it around. Say, this is shuttle 395A. Requesting docking. Permission to come aboard.
This is Lieutenant Commander Garn. You have permission. Please approach.
All right, so I'll just bring it in nice and easy. Turn it around, back it in, and then set her down nice as you please.
You seem like an okay pilot. Bet I could have done better.
Maybe next time you can try.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been piloting?
Oh, just traveling around, selling wares. I've done my fair share of shuttle piloting.
Oh. Well, that's the way to get to learn.
At this point, when you're pulling in and the fields are back up and we're clearing the atmosphere, Lieutenant Shakur, the Azorian, the Andorian, he appears with his two technicians, and they're there to break down the shuttle once you're done. Yeah.
So I'll open the rear hatch, we'll step out, have my duffel bag over my shoulder. Say, I put up my hand. Commander Kant, is the captain around?
Yes, right there, Captain.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Hi, Captain. Commander Kant.
Oh, shit, I should actually change this. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to leave that.
Ah.
Commander Kant, welcome aboard. Ambassador Nock, welcome aboard the GSPS Europa.
Thank you. I assume the crew behind you is here to get my luggage, of course.
Lieutenant Valcor is one of our security officers. He's the chief security officer aboard the ship, but I'm certain he wouldn't mind assisting.
Perfect. Security is of the utmost importance for what I'm carrying.
Lieutenant?
You're calling Valcor? I'm sorry, I was away from the computer.
Yes, Valcor.
Yes, Commander.
If you would assist the ambassador.
Sure. Yes, I will.
Escort him to his quarters. And if he wishes to join us on the bridge afterwards, he may do so. In the meantime, Commander, I will take you directly to the bridge so you can assume your position.
Shakor stops Valcor and has one of the technicians take the luggage so that Valcor can go about his duties.
Okay. Right. I would still like Valcor to escort the ambassador to his quarters.
Of course.
Yes.
So while the two of you do that, Lieutenant Shokor and the other patrolman will start breaking down the small shuttle.
Very good. Welcome aboard, Commander.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I've heard good things about the Europa.
I trust the journey was uneventful.
Not bad. It's I know more than I ever wanted to know about. What is it? I forget the actual name.
Nagasson.
The Nagasson, yeah. I've known more than I ever wanted to know about the Nagasson, but it was fine.
Of course. And you have a science background as well, I see.
Oh yeah. My whole life.
Perhaps before you join us on the bridge, you may wish to stop by your own quarters and change into a proper command uniform.
As you like. I've worn both, so I'm not. I'm fine with whatever you prefer.
Well, we're both. This is both of our first mission with the Europa. It would probably be best to try to assume as much authority as we can.
Yes, sir. And speaking of my quarters, where are they from here? Again, new ship. I know the basic layout, but
I'll walk right up to one of the walls.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a panel. Hit a button and it brings up a layout, and I'll show them the way.
Gotcha.
I trust you'll be able to find it on your own.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Join me on the bridge as soon as you're ready.
And nod and head off to my quarters. Yeah, I'll just quickly dump my bag in the quarters. Pull out the XO shirt, which I'm sure is gold, or the uniform, which I'm sure is there, and switch them out quickly.
Right, switching out for the blue for the gold. In context, mechanically speaking, for the game and the setting, anything that you're familiar with from Star Trek crosses over pretty much one for one.
Yep.
What time period though? What era?
Original.
Okay. Cool. It does make a bit of a difference.
It does.
No iPads.
Right.
Yep. So I'll head right up to the bridge. Making sure my uniform is straight. Look myself in the mirror real quick. Brush myself down and head up to the bridge. Make a good first impression.
I would have already relieved, of course, Lieutenant Commander Garn once I arrived back at the bridge and assumed my position once again. And I'll wait though for the commander to arrive before issuing our next orders. In fact, yeah. So at the moment, we're just still sitting in the same location.
It happens. Toot Sweet, you get a quick update from Lieutenant Shakur and the 2 crewmen that have been tearing apart the shuttle. They're almost complete and ready to batten the hatches down. They're ready anytime you are, sir.
Okay. So once the commander arrives, I'll address the bridge crew. Who all is in here at the moment? Let's see here. I would assume the patrolmen are all here, and they're not all the patrolmen, but the science.
I'd probably be science.
Yeah, but you'll be relieving Patrolman Russell.
Right. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
on your crew up there, while the commander is a science focused individual, he's actually serving as the executive officer.
Mhm.
Right.
So your science officer and the science crewman will be taking care of the science duties.
Oh, okay.
So you need to let go, sir. You need to let it go.
That's fine. I just noticed that he doesn't have a chair.
Well, then he can stand,
I guess he will stand. Very well.
or send someone on about their duties, because there are secondary duties for everyone.
Right.
All right, Captain, it's on you.
Okay, so I'll introduce. This is Commander Garn. Will be assuming the position of XO from this mission forward until further notice. I expect you all to follow his orders just as I would expect you to follow my own. Commander Kent, are you aware of our orders?
Am I?
No.
Okay. No, sir.
Okay, very well. So I will relay that we have been. I need to pull up the thing again. Where is the description? The event disappeared. There it is. Sorry. We are going to be dispatched to the void. We will be passing beyond the Great Expanse to do a deep survey of a scout ship. Sorry, not a scout ship. Sorry, of a derelict starship of unknown design. It was discovered by the scout ship Gungnir in the wastes beyond the edge of the Expanse. It is too far away for any support or backup, so we will be doing this mission on our own. The coordinates you'll find in, and I'll just hand him. I guess they didn't have data pads, but they had those like tricorder type things, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Coordinates you will find here for our destination. If you would please issue the orders.
And in context, data pads do make sense. So, I mean, we have them now. So, yeah, you have data pads for sure.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I imagine it's this little smaller rectangular clunky thing though.
Yes.
Like holding a brick in your hand.
I confirm for him.
I kind of skim through it really quick, and I say, Patrolman Smith, laying a course for coordinates on your station.
Aye, Commander.
Engage when ready.
Engaging, sir. The engines engage, and you are off. All right, so we have 5 days to get where you need to go at the speed you're traveling. So, is there anything that you guys want to check, want to do out of context to your jobs, in context to your jobs? Is there anything specific before, during, so that I can do checks and know so that when we get there, you weren't like, hey, I wanted to do this?
I mean, Kent is probably just going to try to get to know some of the get to know the crew, especially the science department. But if he's XO, he wants to know, the bridge crew. Sure, he'll kind of work his way down.
Review everybody's records and meet with them individually when you can.
Yeah. I'm more glad to the records. I'm more likely. I mean, if they've made it this far, then their record must be at least reasonable. I'm looking more for their personalities, how they interact.
Perfect.
Get a feel for them on a personal level.
It's a small ship. You can find individuals, or you can find them in pairs, trios, whatever you want. However you'd like to do it, that's the way it's done.
Yep. No, I'll say to the captain, I say, if with your permission, sir, I'd like to talk to some of the crew, get a feel for the capabilities and personalities and so forth.
Of course, you'll find their full. You'll find the full dossier and their service records in the data pad that I've given you. Of course, but yes, I would encourage you to do so.
Captain, what do you be doing for the 5 days other than typical duties?
How long would it take to run level 3 diagnostics on all major ship systems?
It would level 3 usually means to take a system down, but
no, not level 3 then. I'm not familiar with the exact details of each level. What would be level 2 then?
Basically, level 1 would be preventive maintenance and reviewing systems and stuff like that. Level 2 is actually doing like deep backups and that sort of thing. And level 3 is where you're pulling stuff out and checking it and putting it back.
Level 2, how long would that take?
Depends on the system, but they have redundant systems, so I would say it's probably in the queue to do level 1 all the time, and weekly, monthly to do level 2s. So it can be done easily en route.
Yes, that's what I would like to organize. That I want everybody to be going over everything, making sure everything's tip-top shape, and any issues that can be improved upon can be scheduled to do so with the engineering team as necessary. So I'll be organizing that amongst each, all of the officers essentially, right? So Lieutenant Commander Garn will be in charge of the engineering issues. Valcor will be in charge, of course, of all the security protocols and procedures. Lieutenant Shakur to go over everything medical. Lieutenant Marks to oversee the science, science stations and systems, etc., databases, and of course they are to delegate to other people as well to share the workload, so they're not working all day, all night. Because
very good,
have their own subordinates, right? We have technicians to assist the engineer. Yeah, there's another security officer to assist Valcor. We have a patrolman for science, and the corpsman can assist the doctor as well.
Right.
And I will want Commander Kant to supervise, to oversee all of this. It'll give them a good chance to fraternize and to get to know the crew, and also at the same time to kind of get used to telling them what to do.
Very
and
good.
for them to get used to doing what he tells them to do. Chain of command and all that. And in my own very little leisure time, I suppose I would take an opportunity to meet, get to know our ambassador. Let me see, where is my ship layouts? We have a galley or something, I presume?
I would assume so. Hold on, let me look.
Or do I have a...
It's not a question that popped up before. Let me look.
Yeah, just since you just sent me the ship layouts, I did not familiarize myself with them, I'm afraid.
Let's see here.
There's a kitchen and mess deck.
Yeah,
there's a recreation deck and commons area. Oops. What else is there? Oh, I have captain quarters as well too. You know what? Actually, I would invite him to my quarters. I assume. Well, no, they're not very big, are they? The quarters.
Well, the captain.
Tell me how big are these squares?
Hold on, let me pull it up. They're typically squares on these sort of things are like 6 feet, but let me grab it real fast.
Yeah, the lower deck is all operation stuff. Yeah, there's nothing down there. Okay, cool. So I'm just trying to think of what the best place would be to.
Let me take a look at the bridge, and based on the bridge, I can tell you the size of the squares. It is the bridge. Yeah, each one of those squares is 6 by 6.
Okay, got it. So yeah, the We'll go with my quarters. I'm sure I have room there.
Sure.
Like a table and chairs, etc. Oops, somebody left. There you go. You're welcome back, Commander.
Sorry about that.
So, I will invite Ambassador Nock to join me in my quarters for a meal.
Ah, how kind of you to think of me.
Well, it's only appropriate. I am the captain of the ship, and you are traveling with us on this mission. You are not a member of the Space Patrol, of course, but an honored guest. So, I thought perhaps we could take this opportunity to get to know a little bit about each other, and understand what our relationship will be like for the remainder of the mission.
Of course. Well, I plan to join your away team while you inspect the derelict craft.
Indeed. And what would the Nagason's orders be for you on this particular mission? If you could give me a little bit of a detail as to the role you are expected to play here.
Well, the Nagasin, as you know, put a quite bit of funding into ensuring that this venture happened. And we don't necessarily have the military might that you do, but we have the funds to assist in such a venture. And what we look to get out of it is anything interesting.
Anything interesting? That's a very, very broad description, to say the least. I would assume that you're interested in a cut of any profits.
Of course. But long-term profit, not just the short-term. Things that we can reproduce.
Mm-hmm. Any discovered alien technologies, or anything that could be, for lack of a better term, exploited to better use for something such as a galactic navy, I presume.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be offering you and your crew for any discoveries on our end quite a bit more than your own people are offering.
Oh, I see. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
The contract was for 1.3% of the estimated value, and the Nagasin have agreed to match that if they do in turn find technology that has value.
Basically doubling it, yeah?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, very good.
Spread out amongst the crew based upon rank.
I can offer you another, bring it up to with added on to your 1.3. I can offer you 2% of all.
2% more?
No, it would be just a 0 point. What is it?
I see.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're adding an additional 0.7%.
Exactly.
It was my understanding that your government was offering an additional 1.3%.
Where would you hear a ridiculous thing like that? I'm gonna roll deception.
Okay. This is a basic challenge for you. So 8D or 2d6, looking for 8 or better with the bonus of your deception skill.
Now, is this an opposed roll situation?
This is a challenge. This is a challenge. So if you have anything that would be related to lie detection or dealing with people who are deceptive, depending on your skill sets.
I have many skills that could assist me in that,
and
including I have deception of my own. I also have ESP or empathy.
So if you would decide at this point if you want to go with a touch. If you want to go with the touch, then you would apply the empathy. If not, then you would roll your own deception, and then you would compare the number. So what did you get, Ambassador Nock? What was your score?
14. I rolled a 12.
A natural 12?
Yep.
A natural 12 would give you, if you had used any of your luck, you could gain
Mhm.
1 point of luck back. And your
Okay.
next challenge will be at advantage. You'll roll 3 dice and choose the 2 highest. So right now your total score is a 14. So the captain would roll either deception or perception, whichever. I would assume probably perception because of the intent.
Oh, yeah. Perception is modified by focus, isn't it?
Perception allows you to have
I
a
don't-
bonus of focus, intelligence, and education. Any of those go towards your perception,
Right.
and then you would be able to compare that number. So, you
Okay.
can
Yeah, I'll use perception then. Ooh, yikes. 4 plus 3 is 7.
okay. So, even though your race is very attuned and adept, they're also very attuned and adept at lying. So he has
Of course,
snuck.
yes, of course.
Yeah, he
And
snuck one
and
by.
I'm not really going to try to use the ESP thing unless I really have to. I suppose without permission, it feels kind of like a sort of violation.
I would say I agree that reading people's thoughts is probably
It doesn't
Look,
seem very ethical. Now,
but-
if it were in a life or death situation, that might be
absolutely.
something
But
different,
I would say probably empathy is different in a command position or in a doctor position, conciliatory
course.
position. So it would probably be it would probably be not considered unethical to use empathy, but ESP probably so.
So I would say I must have misread it in the reports from the Space Patrol, from the Federation, I should say. Well, as you know, the Galactic Federation is not a greedy organization at all. So your offer is very gracious and appreciated.
But think of your crew. When not everywhere you go is in the Federation, and having some spending cash to ease over relations and improve relations with native populations is always a benefit. Why do you think the Ferengi are so popular?
I just kind of smile and I say, "Oh, well, Ambassador, are you encouraging me to haggle for more of a percentage?"
I've already offered you as much as I can.
Oh, well, you mean to tell me that you've played your full hand right from the very first opportunity? I find that highly unlikely. And think of my crew. After all, not everywhere we travel is in Federation space.
You've got some lobes on you. I like you.
I'm sure our working together will be very interesting and educational for both of us.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it will. So we gonna flirt the whole night, or are we gonna negotiate?
Well, you've offered us 2%. The Galactic Federation is offering us 1.3%. Now, I suppose it's a question as to whether or not it's worth undercutting my own organization, the people who have taken care of me and looked after me my entire life, not to mention my entire career, for a small 0.7%. I think perhaps you might even be able to do as much as 3%.
That is ridiculous. What kind of
I'm-
discovery do you think is going to happen?
Well, the level of discovery shouldn't matter for the percentage, because the greater the discovery, the greater the profits. 3% of 100 credits is the same, is very different from 3% of 1 billion credits, for example. if we find discovery worth billions of credits or even millions of credits, well, I think everybody's going to profit considerably. At that point, what's a simple 1% between friends? And we are friends, are we not?
Well, I get, yeah, we are friends. I would say,
Now,
could
would I
do-
be able to roll persuasion as a challenge roll?
Absolutely.
what
All
would
right.
be a?
Sorry.
If you have persuade also, when he does the persuasion, you'll roll the same time, and the higher persuasion wins.
I have
Otherwise, what?
Otherwise,
Other
you have to
than-
apply other skills.
the other skill I would have that because we're making a deal. I would say broker.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh yeah, that sounds.
All
appropriate.
right. I'm going.
Yikes! I'm terrified of his broker score.
Hold on.
I have no idea what it is, but I assume it's meaty. So I have a 13.
Okay.
A 10 plus 3.
Guess what I rolled with 3 dice.
Yeah, you roll 3 dice and you choose the 2 highest.
I'm gonna pick the 2 highest. They're both 1s.
Holy shit! You rolled 3 1s.
You rolled 3 1s, really?
Really?
Okay, here we go.
Wow.
You lose a point of luck for rolling snake eyes. So you drop a point of luck. It's temporary loss. You can get it back later.
Yeah.
And your next challenge will be at disadvantage. So she has flipped it upon you, and you find yourself, whether it's the pheromones, the curve of her lobes, whatever it is, you are broken. And more than likely, your choices are going to be something along the lines of rush out completely red-eared, embarrassed, or admit that, yes, it was 2.6 and you will honor it. Something along those lines.
All right, so I'm gonna drop to my knees and go, my beautiful lobeless. I'm sorry I lied to you, but as high as I can go is only the 2.6. You were right. I was wrong. I lied to you. If only you would forgive to me. And I'm kind of on my knees groveling to her.
I walk over and I place a hand on his shoulder, and I'd like to use empathy just to see what he's really feeling.
Yep, it's a basic challenge. Now he's already broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the disadvantage that he had coming and make it an advantage for you. So 3d6
Plus
8
my,
or better with your
ethics plus
empathy,
my empathy. Yeah,
which is 1, right?
correct. Holy crap! I got a 3 on the dice, so it's a 4.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to fall back on your natural intuitions and so forth, and just realize that
Yep.
he's broken. And
Yeah, I believe it. I believe he is really sorry, and he is really broken. And I say, please, Ambassador, please, right, stand up. Everything is fine. The 2.6 will be more than adequate. There's no need to grovel. There is no need to be embarrassed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your company at dinner this evening. Now, I wish to get some rest before I sleep for the night, so I'll shake his hand and open
Perhaps
the door.
tomorrow night you could join me in my quarters for a bottle of Cardassian liquor.
That's a very kind offer. I will take it into consideration and see. It all depends on how much I think rescheduling my plans with Commander Kant will hurt his feelings. I'll take it into consideration, and I will let you know tomorrow.
Of course, I'm sure Commander Kant can't be that fun. I mean, he's only a commander.
okay, so we know what the
consider, and I close the door.
we know the captain has set duties upon the crew, and we'll be following up on that. That's what she'll be doing for the next 5 days. Ambassador, you have no duties, so do you have anything that you would like to try to accomplish in these 5 days so I can do my checks?
Make money, so gamble with the crew.
Okay, well, the crew's pretty busy, but let's see here. Rather than just roll randomly, how about you pick one individual to be a mark, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I would think the best way to do it would be set up a gambling ring, set up a small casino, but I can do a mark.
Oh, you can definitely set up a game on the recreation. I was just saying, try to find somebody. Do you want to try to get somebody that you think has money, or do you want to try to get someone that has very little rank and might have more time? Just pick the person you want to try.
I'm gonna go for the helmsman.
All right. The helmsman, Patrolman Tarn Smith of Earth. Let's see here. All right. So let me see here. The helmsman's duties are not overwhelming because they're pretty much having a straight shot. So we'll definitely take you up on your gambling. Very interested in gambling themselves. So it'll be a gambling roll versus a gambling roll. So whenever you are ready, I am rolling.
Do I have disadvantage, or did I?
No, that's gone. That's passed.
Okay.
All right, so I've got 9.
Well, apparently I can only roll two kinds of rolls today because I got double sixes again.
Okay, you gain back that point of luck that you had lost.
Mm-hmm.
Smith pulled out a 10 total. What was your total score? 12 plus your gambling?
Gambling's a +3, so 15.
So you have a 15. Smith is going to go for a re-roll and pulled out a pair of 6s himself, but he only has +1, so it's a 13. So he did the very best he could skill-wise and luck-wise, and you still beat him. So in the process of a series of events, it wasn't a single thing. It was a long game. You won, and the differential is 2, so you got 200 credits off of him. And in this case, credits would be the same value as dollars today. So you got a nice tidy sum.
Fantastic.
And you have the success, so you've regained some sensation to your lobes there. All right, so let's go to our security officer, Valcor. Do you have anything that you want to do other than your standard duties, sir?
Yeah. To begin with, whenever I had to escort the
Ambassador Knock
to his quarters, I'm trying to do a little bit of profiling, physical profiling with him. I would like to have, before he even got on the ship, do a research of him, background, where he's been, what people would say, if I have any contacts on the places where he's been set up before.
Other than just standard transmissions, do you have anything that would be sort of clandestine related for skill sets? I don't. Let me pull your character up in a second.
What do you mean by that?
I'm going to pull up your character here in just a second. Okay. Give me half a second so I can take a look. See if we can pull something sneaky out. Rob. All right, here we go. I got it. Okay, other than the classic profile that you've got, we got astronavigation. You got some deception yourself. That's good. You got investigation, which is good. Persuasion is good. Okay, so we would apply. You have time, so you can do an investigation at advantage. So roll 3d6, take the 2 highest ones, and add +2.
Okay, here we go. You said 3d6, correct?
Correct. And take the 2 highest.
Okay. Yeah, 3, a 2, and a 3. So 2 3s.
6 and 2 is an 8. So that's enough for basic information. So the information that you get is that Ambassador Nock is a representative of the Nagasan Tech Corporate. He is ranked as a consul. Ambassador is a bought, an honorary rank. He's not truly an ambassador. They still you still respect it as far as the title, but as far as diplomatic corps is concerned, he's not an ambassador. He represents financial interests only. As far as like criminal history, no more, no less than other Nagasan. They have a long-running issue with patrol being too restrictive on their activities. So every Nagasan you run into has a series of misdemeanors and dropped felonies related to gambling and swindling and contracts broken or made and such like that.
Smuggling.
Absolutely, but nothing beyond the ordinary that you can say. Now, as far as the profile goes, if you are able to take one says you have 5 days, so you should be able to find time to sit down with them. But if not, sit down with them because you have a high profile that you could observe. So over a period of observing, well, you will again gain advantage. So roll 3d6, take the 2 highest, and add your profile, which is 7. So you get a bonus of 7. So 3d6, take the 2 highest.
Okay, I got 2 5s.
2 5s. So you got a 17. Okay, so the basic roll that you needed was an 8. So you got a 17, which doubles it. A 16 is a double. So you've got a critical success. So with your critical success of your profile, what is it that you were looking for as far as the in-depth portion of the profile? And then I will elaborate.
Well, we know that he's not going to be exactly an honest person. So probably I'm looking for maybe some kind of clue that there is not everything that we've been told.
If he's hiding anything?
If he's hiding anything, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, your critical success has stripped Ambassador Nock naked, as it were, security-wise, and beyond his predilection to gamble and swindle and so forth like that, he is exactly what he says he is. He's not an assassin. He's not going under an assumed name. He is who he says he is. He's matched everything in line. There is nothing dubious beyond being a Nagasan and what their standard routine is. So he is exactly what you hoped he would be, and nothing more, nothing less. He is not hiding anything. He doesn't have any special information.
So there's no security risk to the ship with him aboard.
None whatsoever. You have this guy pegged.
That's
So with that extreme success, if anything comes up related to that, then consider it an advantage in the future.
Very well.
I might say there's a risk of stuff going missing.
With his success and his perception, there's a very good chance that even though you looked over his shoulder, he's actually watching you from a distance. So that would be quite a challenge if you tried to do anything like that. But we're moving on. So Valcor's taken care of. Let's see here. Can I have the full screen again? Commander can't. Did we go over if you were doing anything special or not?
Yeah, I was going to be going around and getting
Right,
to know
right.
the
Introducing yourself. Yeah, introducing
Um,
yourself to the crew. Okay, right,
yeah.
right.
Well, one of the sort of sub things I was going to do as well was, since I get the impression that like some of the crew has been in the ship for a while, and others are brand new. Like it's a very big difference in experience on this ship, right?
What you're looking at
Is that correct?
is that all of your crew, your actual crewmen, the patrolmen, they have been on the ship for quite a while, actually. And Valcor has been on board for a while. S1, Mark's. The only ones that are new are the captain and yourself. Everybody else has been here
Okay.
for a year or two.
For some reason, I thought there were more people who had succumbed to the flu thing, and we had a whole bunch of new crew. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so no, they've been on at least 4 missions together, and this was the first mission for the captain and yourself. The captain has just been on longer.
Okay. Well, if there are any people who've had more or less experience with each other, what I want to choose is when I plan the crew assignments, I try to at least make sure that if there's someone who has less experience, that they're with someone more experienced, basically. So I'll put together a shift routine, a shift schedule, and I'll bring it to the captain to get it approved.
Very good.
This is after talking to everyone and kind of getting a feel for it.
Okay, so with those done, let me do my checks to see if anything untold happens on day 1.
Yep.
And it did not. It's easy cruise. Day 2, easy cruise. 3, we have a critical failure. No, not a walk over, but we do have a critical failure. So we do have to drop, and we lose a day. So engineer is Shokor. I will do the roll for him. And he has a standard success. So you just lose a day. So that we're going to go into a 6th day. Check.
Shakor is the doctor, but yeah, okay.
Lieutenant Tal Shakor is engineering officer.
Really? I have him here as doctor.
I think what happened was in that little overlay, I think some names got squashed together. Hold on a second.
Wait, I see. Oh, I've got everything wrong here. Fuck, I hate that.
You said it earlier. You said it earlier, but I didn't want to break the moment.
I gotta fix it all. Okay.
It's no big deal. He took care of it, so we're on to the next day.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What something he would do would be he would investigate that to make sure there was no foul play involved.
Like sabotage?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was strictly a matter of stellar dust getting sucked into the intakes and clogging up the filters. Pretty common out here in the void.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's what something. Yeah.
No, absolutely. That's a good call.
So, if I can get this straight, then let me see here.
I'll read it off, and you check your notes.
Lieutenant Commander Motgarn is an Earthling.
Yes,
He's the operations officer.
correct.
Okay. Whereas Tal Shakor is a human engineer,
No,
Earthling engineer.
Azorian. The blue guys, Andorian.
Oh, so he's engineer, then name, and then species.
Correct.
Is that what you've done here?
Yes.
Oh god. Okay, so he is Andorian engineer. Man, I have everything wrong. Lieutenant Jason Marks is Earthling, I presume.
Medical.
Christ.
He's the ship's doctor.
Lieutenant Roy S1.
Earthling. Science
What?
officer.
Science officer. Okay. Patrolman John Carson.
Carson is a corpsman. A blue shirt. Earthling.
Okay. Patrolman Lindy Lowe.
Lindy Lowe is the tactical. Red.
Okay, I think I have these ones right then. Tarn Smith is an Earthling Helm. Frank Russell's Earthling Science. Jane Harrow is Earthling Technician, and Mark Total is Earthling Technician as well.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
All right, I got all the patrolmen right. Cool. All right, got it all fixed then. Apologies.
No worries. No problems at all. You have no other problems, and you come within to a range on the 6th day. And what you get on the long range sensors is that the ship has a symmetry which defies any other design, and it is at least a mile long rod.
The derelict.
The derelict, a
It's
mile
a
long rod.
mile long, and it's in
Complete
rod
symmetry.
shape.
Complete symmetry. There is no pinching or deformed definition. It is apparently a solid shaped rod, and you're getting no indications on the long range as far as materials and so forth. You're just getting an image, and the image is a rod in space, a long, mile long rod.
And it is truly derelict. There's no energy signatures, anything coming from it.
No energy signals that you can read from where you are.
What
And
is the diameter
it's not
of it?
moving, it's just adrift.
It appears to be unmoving and in the same position that you were marked before. Now, when I say the last day, you've already started the slowing down process, and you're approaching at impulse. So you're already in control.
Is the Gungnir still
Long gone.
okay?
They caught it on long range sensors, and they kept right on going.
I want to do deep scans, long range, to find out if there are any other ships in the area at all. Do a full, massive radius scan. So I even check and see if there's other ships coming up behind us, if anybody's decided to follow us, etc. So
all right, Patrolman Lowe will knock that out on tactical, and
I will oversee it because I want to get my own analysis in
with
there.
with the time involved and preparation, we will roll with advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a 9, and the crewman has a 3, so we have a 12. We're good. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, except for that rod and yourselves.
Very good. Yes, commanders, please speak freely.
Commander Kant, he's going to take over the science station for scanning purposes, and he has all his the science personnel focusing on that. Brings in extra personnel as needed. I know it's not a huge crew on this, but basically everyone who knows anything about science is on a sensor at the moment.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely, yeah. That steps to the side. Yes, sir.
And I'm coordinating from the station on the bridge and relaying everything to the captain, basically.
Good.
Very good.
What is the diameter of this thing? You said it's a mile long, but and it's a rod. But what is the diameter approximately?
100 yards wide.
So that thing is basically like a long, narrow needle. Basically, is it flat on each end, or is it pointed like a javelin?
We don't even need to do this. It is there's no challenge to this. It's just reading instruments. Who has the massive? It's the captain that has massive data. So at this point, we're gathering data, and once you've got all of this data in hand, the captain will be able to apply the analysis. That's where that skill is going to come into it when you have your gathered data. So you're gathering data now for the captain to make the analysis. Okay, so an easy mark is that on either end of the rod, it is completely and absolutely flush flat.
Okay.
So it's like a really skinny straw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Talking about 300 feet in diameter and over 5,000 feet in length.
Yeah. Are there any no markings, openings?
Nothing that you can see from where you
hatches?
are. It looks to be within reason, completely symmetrical, and with no distinct deviations from that. It appears to be.
Is it in orbit around anything? Like is it just completely adrift?
You are in the void. There is nothing in the void.
Okay. Well, there's
Dust,
something.
stellar dust. This rod in yourselves.
There's a strange needle flying through space.
That's not flying at all.
I don't know, Captain.
There's nothing blocking any of the scans, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. You're in the great desert of space. It's all
Okay,
black.
so far, but the ship has no blocking of any of the scans that we're doing. Correct?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
a defensive blocking, the defensive
Exactly.
scan.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that would be something that you would definitely check. Let me see here.
Checking for countermeasures or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a great idea. Hold on a second. Computer session. That would be one of the things that you in your position, you don't have any specialty technically but to do that, but that's not your position. Your position is to get things done. So you would inform them to start checking for those things. So
Yeah, I can see him standing behind me and
exactly, and applying that. So we're going to go ahead and do a check for the ship with advantage, and we got a natural 12. So the ship, whoever does the next big challenge that relates to the ship itself will be
Has a
doing
bonus
so.
die.
Yeah, we'll be doing it with advantage.
Right.
There appears to be no discernible defensive countermeasures that you can determine from where you are, and any that you have been used to seeing before.
Yeah. No heat, radiation, energy, transmissions, anything like that.
As it seems from where you are, it appears to be dead in space.
And we have no detection that we are being scanned.
Correct. Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah, no.
That'd be some kind of transmission.
So at
Captain.
this point, narratively, or sentiment wise, what you're approaching now, the foreboding music kicks in, boom, 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 and as you approach it, it starts coming into more into view as you approach, and the foreboding dread of this great rod in space, as it were. It is absolutely enormous. And as the data is coming in and the dom dom dom, you get all of the information is coming back. So now the captain can make her roll. So captain making a roll with the ship's information. So this will be at advantage. So 3 dice plus your analyst value.
Okay. 19.
19.
Yeah, 10 plus 9.
Right, exactly. 19. So you needed an 8 for this standard check. So you got a critical success. So all the information comes back, and it appears to be completely covered in rock. And the entire surface is covered in rock.
Okay. Now, is there a metal surface underneath the rock? So is it like coated in rock, or is it just a rock?
With that
structure
success, you do note dozens of small patches, and by small, I mean 30, 40 feet across, of exposed metal that is dark, so it's not obvious, but there is definitely metal underneath the rock, and it appears that, based upon your experience and all the information provided, that it is in fact covered with stellar scale. All the collected bits and pieces of the rock and dust have gathered onto the surface of this.
So it's been here for a very long time.
That is one good option. Perhaps another might be that it attracted the dust, or in some other way got covered. But yes,
I'll make sure that all that information is relayed back to the science station, of course, and it probably came from the science station in the first place, actually. But just to make sure that they get the same deduction.
Right, all the data shared together. Right.
Going into the hypothesis that it's that it's scale that built up over time, normal scale that built up over time. So we should be able to check the depth. I try to get a rough, using the computer. I try to get a rough estimate of how long it's been building up scale.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we don't even need to do a challenge for that, because that's a standard sort of thing that you can plug in. Based upon the depth as you're approaching, brum, 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 and you got the big lights going across it. I mean, you've gotten close enough that you can actually see part of it. It is intimidating because it's so different. There's nothing you've seen as anything like this before. But based upon your experiences of scale collecting on older craft and so forth, that are near stellar bodies, right? Now, when you're in an asteroid field, when you're near a moon, when you have stellar dust being collected around a ring or something like that, what you've seen is that it does gather up, but it tends to gather up proportionally, like a leeward side and a windward side, where it gathers more on one side than the other. And this is a pretty even coating, like it was rolled around in it, or it gathered magnetically or something like that, where it was all drawn to it. But it's difficult to place anything other than it looks like it's ancient, that it has gathered dust slowly and has been building it.
Well, I guess by ancient, are we talking thousands, tens of thousands, millions of years?
Possibly 1,000 or more years.
Okay. So
it's based upon where it is, because where you are is super fine dust, because that's what clogged up your engines.
Yeah.
So it would take a long time if there's no other factors.
Yeah. I say, well, if it's just been here, then this could have been here for thousands of years. It's hard to tell for sure if it's new to the area.
Now the exciting thing,
no, it's not moving at all, right? Like it's
nope,
not even it's not okay. No momentum. Okay.
Perhaps as we get closer, we'll be able to get some more readings on the the surfaces beneath, and you might be able to date it better from there.
Exactly.
Are there any signs of any dangerous radiation or anything coming from the vessel?
You do get indications of energy on either end. And as you approach, you do get a very slight rotation, a counterclockwise rotation, very, very slight. Now, one of the crewmen says something, then it's mentioned to the others, and it passes around pretty quickly. Maybe it comes across as a text. Captain, is it Forerunner? And Forerunner would be the civilizations that existed long before people ever walked on their own planets. And y'all have found evidence in the past of Forerunner civilization. And
I believe there was some jump gate found or something.
Exactly. The technology is just beyond anything that can be replicated or reasonably explained. So that's pretty exciting that it could be Forerunner.
Yep, that's another hypothesis for sure. Well, in the meantime, since we are getting some even minor energy readings, I will have the shields raised. Just for defensive purposes, just in case. I don't want to have the ship get flushed with any kind of radiation or anything.
Very good.
Or we see it coming. And let's continue our approach until we get close enough to get a better readings on it, better visual on it, and perhaps consider the possibility of dispatching an away team.
And before,
I'd also recommend
obviously we're going to have to probably dispatch an away team, but you know what I mean.
I'd also recommend not being near either end. If this turned out to be some sort of weapon, that's probably where it would emit from. So if we ended up staying somewhere in the middle.
As far as
very
the scout,
sensible precaution, Commander. So I'll say, Lieutenant Commander Garn, make it so.
Aye, Captain. As far as the ship goes, just to reiterate, you do have a battery of photon torpedoes. You have a single ship's phaser, and you do have a limited cloaking device. A limited cloaking device will put strain on the system, and you cannot warp or...
We have a ship's phaser, a limited cloaking device. What was the other thing?
Battery of photon torpedoes.
Photons.
Okay, gotcha.
But
and
you
actually,
cannot,
let me just make sure. Lieutenant Garn is the operations officer, so he's not at the con. Who sits at the con? The helmsman?
The helmsman would be the
Smith.
helmsman would be the one that actually pushes the buttons and monitors the actual steering. But the helm is the bridge. That would be where the captain is. The captain tells. It's kind of a misnomer, but
yeah, for sure, because you've got Patrolman Tarn Smith.
A helmsman is actually the pilot.
All right. So in that case, I would have told Patrolman Tarn Smith. I would have said Patrolman Smith make it so, not Lieutenant Commander Garn.
Either way, and everybody's going to act anyway. They're not going to check anything.
Still trying to figure out people's names on the ship.
Everybody's going
to...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I assume if we're going to send an away team, we'll need to. It'll have to be EVA. So while we're in during an interim, I scan through the crew records. I want to find people who are, not only proficient in the sciences we need, but also have 0G vac suit training.
Back suit, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
While you're doing all that, and while the crew is preparing, and while we've approached, what has Ambassador Nock been doing? Sleeping.
There we go. Ambassador Nock is going to he's going to get his own personal equipment he's brought together, which it's going to be primarily his primitive hacking tools.
Sure.
And his own projectile weapon, whatever Nagasin would have, and he's going to then go to the bridge and suit it up in his gear to go aboard the other ship. Maybe even his own vac suit.
Very good. So everybody's preparing for all that. Let's take a quick 5-minute bio break, and then we'll get back to it. Dun dun dun.
Excellent.
Investigating the ship.
All right.
And I will do this while we are on hiatus. There we go. Just so if anybody is actually watching the recording later, they can skip forward until that logo disappears on the screen, and then they know we're back in the game.
Oh, there you go. Clever you.
Clever me, because I managed to avoid having to use any editing skills that I don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you're the captain.
Yeah, I have to find out who the crewman is that was responsible for putting together the crew manifest that I was given. I mean, I'm not going to recommend them for. I'm not going to recommend them for reprimand, because I know how people like to sometimes prank new officers coming aboard, etc. But I will make sure that they understand. I expect a better standard of work in future.
Indeed, indeed.
I think that was from the previous commander.
Probably, yeah. Just trying to cause a little embarrassment for the new captain, etc. Telling them the wrong names, the wrong stations, etc.
Sure. Well, they did have a batch of the flu going around. So
Yes, indeed. That's why I'm not going to reprimand. Just want to make it clear that I, have a higher standard when it comes to the work I expect to be done by this crew. That is all. Actually, when we're finished with the actual session, John, too, I have a couple of things I might want to go over with you on as well as captain of the Europa.
sure. I'm going to
Boring stuff that probably wouldn't make for anything interesting for the rest of the crew. So we can do it at the end.
sending a picture of the EVA suits that we have for the patrol.
All right, so we're back on. I should turn off the thing, I take it. We'll do that. Okay, we're back on. Hopefully everyone is back. I think the only one I haven't heard from is Rhett. I know Rob's there.
I'm back.
All right, cool. So,
Are those vac suits color coded by division or anything like that, or rank?
That they have a standard color and they have armbands, arm designations.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll lead the away team.
Ugly.
Yeah,
I will.
they're safe.
I have vac suit training. I'll lead the away team and bring probably 2 others. I mean, it's a small crew, so
Who are you planning to bring aboard?
all right. Let's see.
I would discuss this with you kind of not loudly in front of the rest of the crew. I just want to see who you're planning to take.
I'll go with Lieutenant Eswan and Lieutenant Tal. Oh, it's Lieutenant Shakur.
Lieutenant Shakur and Lieutenant Eswan is fine. I would also recommend maybe at least taking Patrolman Carson, just in case of any medical emergencies while you're off ship.
I'm not sure what they'll be able to do in our vac suits. I mean,
Well,
True enough. You'd be able to put. Go ahead.
we could bring one of the shuttles over, and park the shuttle basically almost on the surface. That would give us
do we have transporter teleporter technology, whatever?
Actually, we do, don't we?
I'm pulling it up right now. I believe I have transporters on this ship. 1 second.
Yeah, it's a teleporter chamber or something like that. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah, teleporter.
Yep. And now,
all right. Yeah. So,
go ahead.
Okay, then we'll use that, because if we haven't, I mean, what I would recommend to Captain, if I may, is just have medical personnel standing by in the teleporter room.
Very well.
That way, if we run into any trouble, just the best thing to do would be to get us back to the ship as quickly as possible, and take care of any medical emergencies that way.
The mission.
I just don't bring too many personnel at this stage, sir.
Okay, so looking at the great rod in front of you there, left to right, where do you plan on targeting this teleporter? Where do you choose to try to?
Well, the idea as we were getting closer would be to get better scans and try to see if we can find are there rooms, are there corridors, whatever inside. Because we're not going to just teleport them into the rod and just hope that they don't end up in a wall or something.
Well, I wasn't thinking about going inside necessarily right away. Anyway, I mean, unless we can get a definitive scan.
You want to teleport to the outside of it?
Well, have we had any kind of scan of the interior?
You have not got any scans of the interior, and it was the EXO's recommendation, and it was followed to not go near the ends. So. Yeah. What you have is what you have so far. You've gained nothing new as far as data.
Okay.
More to reinforce whatever you had before.
So even as we get closer, we just can't get anything more.
Yeah. What if could we transport a probe inside and then bring it back?
You do have probes, and you can teleport probes, But I'm asking you specifically, where are you trying to? Because the targeting sensors have to try to penetrate the rock and then the metal surface to try to find a location, and nothing's going through. So
Right, and we don't know if there's corridors or it's hollow at all on the inside.
you do have probes though, for sure.
Yeah.
And the probes the probes can't work on their own. I mean, they are shot off, and they have the little drones.
Well, then yeah,
here's what I'd like to do then. Send a probe towards the left end.
Okay.
The end on the left, to see if it can get any more information. Because I really don't want to send teleport anything, even a probe, inside the thing if I don't know that there's an opening,
Right.
Fair enough.
Like I said, I don't want to teleport it into solid rock or solid steel or whatever,
Where is the ship in accordance to the rod facing you lengthways, left to right?
Right around the middle.
You're going to stay right near the middle? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So the probe goes out and goes around tentatively. Dun, 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 and it goes around the corner. And as it breaches the corner and goes around the edge, everybody's on edge and watching all the monitors. It creeps around the corner and it's brightly lit. And you see that it's almost as if a clean cut sliced the end off. And you have a smooth metal surface of a ring with that little crusty layer around the outside. And on the inside is an amazing array of a ring world sort of thing, where there's chambers all around a ring, leaving a hollow center. And individual chambers, as what you can see by the probe, are environments. Water, Arctic, swamp, desert, any and a wide variety, and they're not organized by location. So it's not all Arctic or all desert. It's a complete and absolute chaotic mix, evenly divided, almost like honeycomb-like, along the inner walls of this.
That's crazy. In just a mile of space. That's a lot of different environments.
Exactly. And as the probe creeps in, it's scanning through. There is a slight rotation. You're getting a little more data coming in, and there is energy on the inside. There is lighting sources, and some of them are dark, and some of them have moisture, and some are in solid water. And it's all of these little micro environments all throughout. And by micro,
and as the probe enters, we're able to still receive signal.
You are able to receive signal.
Good. So using that, then we can get a bit of an idea as to the layout inside.
Yeah, and we could also probably use
now
it to get
a
teleport.
Yeah. It is entirely possible then to teleport you inside as well as outside, should you wish. But I'll leave that up to you, Commander. You are well trained in the Science Academy, and you are in command of the away mission.
All right.
So I just kind of kick back in my chair and cross my legs.
and for all your data with all your massive analytic ability.
Oh yeah, I have that all feeding through at my command chair.
Sure.
In that case, let's take the Europa to within 1,000, or say about say about a quarter of a mile from the end where the probe is. Someplace where we can get I want to bring us around enough where we can get a lock on the inside, but I still don't want to be like near facing the end of this thing.
You want to be able to view the end of it at an angle. Is that right?
Even if we have to use the sensors from the probe to do that.
Just to be clear, you want to physically view the end of the rod, but not face directly upon it. You want to hit it in an angle.
Yeah, I want to position the Europa. Yeah.
So if somebody was standing at the end of the rod and was waving, they'd be able to see you at an angle. Is that what you're saying? It's not what you see. I'm just saying that is that the case? Make a decision, XO.
Yes,
Commander?
that is correct.
Okay, so you make your way, and then as you creep around the corner, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, that's correct.
dun, 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 and you're able to see the view in there, and it is stunning.
You guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Can hear you, but I think you might be
Hello?
lagging.
Okay.
He is lagging, but not by too much now. It looks like.
Okay, so anyway, you do get to see a little bit inside with the angle that you're approached, but you are not directly in front of it. You do see by your direct monitors, you're able to see directly into the tube enough to see several of the environments. And with the incoming data, they appear to be frozen in time. So the environments are not live, but there are organic entities in each, whether they be flora, fauna, or both.
I missed a bunch of that. It was very tinny, and I wasn't getting a good.
Is that everybody, or is that just him?
Just him. I heard you loud and clear.
Okay, so basically you're able, each one of those little honeycomb sections is a different environment. And within the environment, there is flora and fauna, but they're not moving. They're frozen in time. Commander, you good?
I didn't hear any of that. It was all tinny and broke up.
Why don't you step out and come back in? Maybe that'll
All right, I'll give it
reset your connection.
Okay.
One does suspect.
Shit, no, that just means I just realized it means I gotta re-enter him in the studio, and I'm in the kitchen. Hold on. Once he comes back.
One does suspect problems occur every now and then when you're transmitting out of a yurt.
Indeed. If he comes back at all.
In the meantime, Ambassador Nock, is there anything you would like to add from all this, from observing all of this?
The technology they're using to maintain all these different biomes is quite interesting.
Indeed. Yeah, you've never seen the like before. The only thing you've ever seen like this, maybe we're on like science fantasy vids and stuff like this, interactive holograms and such.
Would I be able to see this from my station?
Absolutely, and all input that's coming in is being shared to all tablets and all stations.
Okay, I have a question then.
Yes.
Are each of these areas different? Is there multiples of certain kinds of biospheres, or bio?
From the angle that you can see, they're all exactly the same size, and they're all different.
There's no duplicates of the environment in each one.
They're definitely not duplicates like side by side. There's not like two deserts side by side or two waters side by side.
Anywhere that we've seen so far, have there been another desert just like that one, or you know what I'm trying to say?
As far as the probe information that's going through, as the probe creeps through, certainly there are multiples of deserts and multiples of different, because there's only so many environments that there could possibly be.
But they're different.
But they're not exactly the same. No.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
It appears that each one is unique.
So it's a possibility they could be taking samples from different areas that they have.
That would be a very logical and intuitive thought. Yes, it does look to be of that that collector studio, an arc of some sort. Did we lose Alex completely?
I don't know. I've just sent him a message to see. He looks like he's still showing his online, so maybe he needs the link again. I will send it to him just in case.
Yeah, I was just asking that question for his own personal, because I know he's not part of the, the scientific part of the crew. So I wasn't trying to interject into them. I was just giving my own personal.
No. All input is welcome, especially on a small ship like this, which mechanically speaking is why I built it this way, so that everybody in the crew could have input and cross duties and be involved in away team and all that. It just doesn't make sense when you have a gigantic ship that all these people will be interacting with each other. But you would definitely be welcome to help in engineering when there's an engineering problem. You'd be welcome to help in medical when there's multiple casualties. Everybody helps and puts input in wherever they can, except for the ambassador, who would only do it if he was paid.
Sorry, I muted you there, Rhett, momentarily. You need to adjust your microphone. You're breathing directly into it.
That is the Ferengi way.
Sorry, I wasn't looking where had my head tilted down and I wasn't paying attention.
Don't worry about it, man. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Alex is working on it. He's working on getting back in.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, the ship has cruised around, and you're definitely not facing straight on. Let's deal with the probe. Any other input you want from the probe? What's coming in from the probe are hundreds upon hundreds of different small sections of environments that include flora and or fauna.
Hundreds upon hundreds in that small area. They must be tiny.
They are small sections.
Like barely the size, bigger than a room, right?
Little slices, yes.
Okay.
So we're going to say it's about...
Fauna and flora within each one.
I'm sorry?
With fauna and flora registering within each one.
Correct.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it might be a single creature. It might be.
Do we get any scans on any of those creatures to see if anything we were familiar with, or? I mean, this thing could, since we're out here in the void, theoretically, this thing could be practically from another galaxy for all we know.
Indeed. Now, as far as that goes, this is a general probe. You would either have to slow it down or send multiple probes in to get more information.
How many probes do we have total?
13 total probes.
13 total probes, and we've only sent one so far.
Correct.
I'll send in a couple more to speed up the process so they can, target different sections.
Very good. So a total of 3, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
3 probes go in. Okay, so you're gaining
one's already
more.
in, so we launch 2 more.
All right, so you launch 2 more. They go in, and they're all gathering data, trying to overlap and so forth, taking it nice and slow. We'll say it's about a quarter of the way through. And they're doing side-to-side scans, and they are showing you tons and tons and tons of data. You're used to interpreting data, so there's no point in even doing challenges for that. The question that you asked was, is there anything that you recognize? You recognize?
I want to scan the fauna and flora, see if there's any animals or plants that we recognize from other worlds, or anything from.
Absolutely. As they go through and they hit 20, 30 of them, there's something you recognize. Another 5 or 6. Something you recognize.
Okay.
But definitely not all of it.
Right. So there's definitely stuff in there from our own galaxy, at least. So.
Correct. Or things that at least resemble it enough.
Mm-hmm. And what is the metal composition like for the hull of this ship, for lack of another word?
Unknown origin.
Perfect. And any other energy sources? You said we were getting a slight energy source from each end of the structure. Is there more energy within, obviously, I presume?
It appears that the ship or this rod itself is blocking all energy emissions except on the cutaway ends.
Right. So there's energy within. It's just not emitting except for on the edge.
Correct.
Okay, cool. What are the energy light readings like on the interior?
Low light, low radiation, all things within the normal spectrum that you can read. And the interesting thing is that it hits all of the possible readings that you could, where you would expect a certain radiation to be tied in with another radiation and then nothing else. There's fringe radiations of all types, all recognizable types. So it is like a slice of a science exhibit, as it were, with all these different energies. Now, there does not seem to be any direct technology as of yet. It just seems to be a series of these chambers with the light emanating from within.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said they're frozen in time.
They're not moving. There's absolutely no movement, no indication of life beyond more of a suspended animation sort of thing. Commander, while you took an immediate break to settle yourself, the captain sent in 2 more probes, and they're taking small side scans throughout. And there are hundreds of small enclosures that seem to be frozen in time, and majority of which are not recognizable as far as flora and fauna, but a few of them are recognizable.
So some kind of maybe ark or museum or something like that.
That is a very good assumption. That appears, if there was no other context to it, that appears exactly what it is.
Yeah, but we don't see any living sort of beings like moving around in there.
As of yet, no.
No movement whatsoever.
You said these are frozen times. Are they literally in stasis? Like
that's what I was just asking.
Absolutely, they do appear to be in a stasis of suspended animation.
That's technology that's well beyond us, right?
No, you have suspended animation.
Yeah, we can do like especially for emergency medical procedures, stuff like that. We could do a
sure
degree.
But on this
do it on that level.
Yeah, this grain of a scale without any obvious technology. Yes.
Well, I was wondering about you made it sound like it was like literally time had stopped within those spaces.
Right.
Like, stopping
the probes are still moving and still functioning, so I'm going to guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's it's a good question to ask.
Okay. That was just being clear.
Is your away team ready?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And where do you want us to beam you?
At this point, the probes are 1/4 of the way. So of the mile, they're a 1/4 mile in.
Mm-hmm.
And they're beaming side to side as you requested.
Probably near the outer edge, and we'll work our way in.
Very well. But you're obviously near the edge that we're at, the areas that's already been scanned.
Well, right, but the scans can only give us so much, right?
Of course, yes, but I'm just saying, like at least the areas that the probes have already visited, so you're not just sending you blindly into who knows.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to go where we've already scanned, so we're not just appearing somewhere we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you look at the ring and you have all these environments in there, you could teleport to the outside of the ship ring. You could teleport to the edge of the ship ring. You could teleport on the inside of the ship ring, or you could choose one of those environments to teleport next to, or I guess you could float in the middle of the space of the ring.
Yeah.
Give me an idea.
Okay. Do the environments look like they're connected? Like, is there a way to get from one to another?
They're all honeycombed next to each other. They're locked into place like cubes.
Okay. Then I guess on the outer surface of one of them will be inside the tube, but like if I'm envisioning this correctly, all these little honeycombed environs are sort of all like they have some sort of top on them, sealing them in, kind of like a.
Well, you can see through them, so if there is a top, it's clear.
All right, yeah.
Or
so
energy.
we'll go there. Actually, we'll bring a shuttle in. No point in teleporting if we can bring a shuttle in with us, like like we do with the probes, and we can land anywhere we want.
Fair enough.
We'll also have a quick way to get out, plus a place where we can retreat to if necessary. So
in that case, then may I again recommend you take the corpsman with you just in case. All
right, yeah. If we're taking the shuttle, definitely,
you can use the shuttle as an emergency medical facility if you need to.
Yep.
Are you still going in full EVA suits?
Yes. Yeah, we don't know anything about what kind of atmosphere is in there, what if there's any kind of hazardous airborne infection or other hazardous materials. So yeah, just for safety purposes.
All right.
And Yep. So I'll pilot the shuttle. I have a pretty good pilot.
All right. So
skill,
your immediate crew that you're sending down is going to go load up the shuttle. Is Ambassador Knock included in this or no?
That's I don't. I can't order him, so that's kind of up to him.
No.
What?
No.
That was part of the agreement.
No, you
I'm
can
coming
go
up.
once the first away team has assessed that the situation is safe. I'm not going to risk a diplomatic incident.
That's why I'm here.
You are a civilian. You're not a member of the Galactic Space Patrol. I can't just risk your life willy-nilly without first getting some more information.
Captain, order this man to let me on the ship.
You're going to have to be more convincing than that, Knock.
This is ridiculous. I can handle myself.
Oh, did you want to fly the shuttle in?
Yeah.
He
I'll fly the shuttle.
did actually suggest that he was a superior shuttle pilot. If you're, I say, perhaps I can confer with the captain for a moment, and I'll have an aside with the captain for a second. If it wouldn't, it might. I know. I understand your decision, and I'll stick by it. I'll back you up 100%. It wouldn't hurt us to have an extra pilot, though, if something should, happen to me, for example. And he can stay in the shuttle. He can be on site and be reasonably safe.
You're taking S1 and Shakur already, as well as Carson.
Yeah.
And now you want to take Knock.
I don't want to take him. I'm simply offering you an option as your XO. Should you, if you want to be able to, if it makes sense. I personally would rather not.
Know him very well. My concern is what will he do once he's there.
That's my concern as well.
His people have a reputation I'm sure you're well aware of. So, if this is your recommendation, he can go as long as Lieutenant Valcor also accompanies. And Lieutenant Valcor goes everywhere Knock goes. Agreed?
All right. Agreed.
All right, so I'll get back on the open channel and say, well, Ambassador, you can thank Commander Kant for convincing me to allow you to take part in the first away team. Lieutenant Valcor will be down there shortly to make sure that everything is squared away with everyone's EVA suits and to make sure that the mission is executed securely.
Good. I'm glad that you're taking this mission seriously and allowing myself and probably the person who should have been going first, security officer, to go.
Don't push your luck, Knock. I close the channel.
Okay, so we've got the EXO, we've got Knock, we got Valcor. Who else is going on board?
That would be Carson, the corpsman, for medical purposes, just in case. S1 to assist with any, science investigations, and Shakur in case they should need the services of any engineer. That's it. I think that's
All right,
enough.
so
Was
that's
that
six
people?
6, correct.
Yep.
It's nearly half the crew.
Yep. It is half the crew. The captain's not really considered part of the crew.
Well, neither is the ambassador, but yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. The crew works for the captain. All right. So shuttle takes off. We don't need to do any challenges because it's just operating a shuttle. Who's operating the shuttle, by the way?
I'll
right? That's what you said.
What's that?
You said Knock,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'll let the ambassador take us in.
Whoa.
I will be in the co-pilot seat though, and paying very close attention, ready to step in should.
Okay, so
should his earlier talk have been just bluster?
Before we go any further, Valcor, let me pull this up real fast for his character sheet. 1 second. I want to make sure of something real quick, because that is against protocol by far. So let me.
Oh, to let Doc.
Absolutely. Yeah, 1 second. This would be a prime example of somebody who had ethics if it was related to the patrol to come in and step in and use this. And he does have level 2 ethics. So this would be a prime example for Valcor, Lieutenant Valcor, to step forward and say, no, sir, you're wrong in some sort of form or fashion. And he would, and if he's successful in doing so by pressuring this and changing the situation, then he could gain back a point of used luck. He hasn't used any at this time, so what he would gain is advantage in his next challenge. So go ahead, Lieutenant Valcor. I am challenging you to follow up on your ethics. After you're not muted anymore.
Are you there, Rob?
Lieutenant Valcor challenges Commander Kant openly, sir. Regulation 17.4-9 says clearly that in a situation like this, that only a qualified space patrolman will operate the craft, and it usually falls to the most senior and veteran of the same. I have to object vehemently.
Would I know if ambassadors had any kind of like special privileges? I mean, I know in at least in our world and somewhat in Star Trek, if you're an ambassador, you get pretty much like do a lot with getting around instructions.
If you had somebody, a celebrity as a ride along with some police, would the police let him drive the car to a crime scene?
Yeah, but this isn't a celebrity though. This is an actual ambassador.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, again,
actually, he's not an ambassador. He's a consul. The ambassador was an honorary title.
Oh, okay. No.
Are you challenging Valcor's?
Yeah,
ethics?
I am. I say, your objection is noted. Good
Okay.
ambassador.
Well, he's going to take the role. So here we go.
All right.
We have a 9 plus his 2 is an 11. So what are you challenging him with? If you're just going to do a general,
No.
a phaser. Funny.
No.
Jesus Christ. First mission as XO, he kills the security officer.
We've got,
or maybe not. He might own you.
I'm looking at your.
We're in the Expanse now, buddy.
All right,
Mr. Nice Guy.
The skill that you would apply right now, the strongest one, would be influence. You are in turn pressuring him by your influence of your rank and your position to change his mind and to challenge the fact that he is presenting you with regulation, but you are going to remand him. So 2d6 plus your 5.
Plus my 6. I'm a 6 command.
You have 5 influence.
Oh, okay. I thought that was part of the command influence. So there's 6, and then I had what for science? Oh, anyway, that's fine.
No. Hold on. I'm looking at the character sheet. The last thing, I'm not questioning whether you had 6. I'm checking because I had 5 written down. Influence came from being in command, correct?
Command is
right.
academy. Influence
1,
is skill.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do have 6. I didn't get the 6th one now. You are correct. 6. 6. So plus 6.
All right. All right. 9. 15.
15 total. So you. All right, you succeeded, but he also succeeded. So if he had used the point luck, he could have got something back mechanically, but his next challenge will come advantage. So even though he did bring it up, and he is correct, you have superseded the command, and you may do as you please. and
Right.
he will be disgruntled and make an even more sour face than he already have, and he might even put out a bit of an odor because of the pheromones. So a little wah wah,
Awesome.
a little bit of
Well,
like,
it's a good thing we're in vac suits.
right. So come across like it.
He can enjoy it all by himself.
Peaches and fresh dog poop or something.
He can enjoy the smell all to himself in his vac suit.
Well, I don't know if y'all would have had your vac suit helmets on in the shuttle. So I'm going to say no. You don't have your helmets on yet. So
Yeah,
you do
probably
get
not.
to enjoy it. Peaches and dog poop. Enjoy. Carry on. So if you want Ambassador Nock to drive, he may do so.
Yeah, I say, all right, let's take us around to the end and get us lined up. I'll take us inside.
Ambassador, are you actually going to do it, or are you going to acquiesce?
I'm going.
Woohoo! Here we go. Having never flown a patrol shuttle before, you don't have a free challenge. So 2d6, looking for an 8 or better, and you have +1 for your skill.
Yep. Woohoo! 8.
With a brimming with confidence and flaring lobes, you make your way easily, without any hesitation, in and out of the ship and towards the end of the rod. By this time, the probes, Captain, have made it almost to the middle, and there seems to be a bit of interference as far as debris floating within the ring at this point. Back to the ship, back to the shuttle. So the shuttle whips around to the corner, and you approach on the left side. And now what?
And basically, as soon as we're about to enter, I'll say I'll turn to Nock. I say that was adequate. All right, I'll take us in from here, and I'll switch over controls, so now I have control of the shuttle, and then I'll take us in slow. Basically, I'll kind of take us in kind of like a spiral, close to the surfaces of these various enclosures.
Okay.
To basically kind of like almost like the rifling of a gun, if you think of it that way. So going this kind of like corkscrew kind of spiral going in, slowly across the surface.
Turn the ship dramatically towards it, so you're flying over it, getting a head of you.
Yeah, the only difference is the bottom of the shuttle is away from the enclosures, because I want to be able to see as much as possible as we're going, like what I'm looking at.
Perfect.
So yeah, the enclosures would be like our ceiling.
Is Rob back with us? Is Valcor with us? And not. He's very disgruntled, and he puts his helmet on.
That's fine.
Okay, so carrying on. Right now, at this point, the probes are passing through what appears to be, and everybody's getting this shared information. So I know you're focused on driving, but you have science officers, and they will note commander. And then the captain gets the same captain. And it appears that there are hundreds of 6 to 7 to 8 foot, for no other better explanation, squids. And they're just floating in the middle of this ring, in the center, near the halfway point. And Merrick just texted me why. Hold on. And they're floating in the center, and the data coming in shows them to be covered in eyes.
I see. Our initial probes did not detect them at all.
You're just not. The probes are just now detecting them. They just ran to them.
Oh, it's up way up ahead still. I get.
Yeah,
you. Okay.
you were running side to side scans.
Right.
At this point, let me check. Is Merrick wanting to jump in, or no?
I don't know. I'll ask him. I'll text him to see if he does. Is his character on the ship?
He's on the shuttle. If he wants to jump in, we can get him in.
He's on the shuttle.
At any point, just let him know he can jump in if he wants.
He mentioned something about a headache, so he might not be up for it.
Yeah, no worries.
His character is Tal Shakur, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll let him know. No problem.
Yeah,
Carry on.
All right. In the meantime, these squids seem to be floating without any movement. They're just drifting there, and as the probes go near them, they in classic Hollywood sense, the probe actually bumps into a couple of them, and they just kind of float away without any excess movement.
What's the environment in here like? Is it just like, is it just a hard vacuum of space in the center?
It does appear to have a fluctuating vacuum and exotic atmosphere. Nothing that was breathable.
Right. So it's a very thin sort of atmosphere within here
with methane and all kinds of weird exotic gases in it.
Sure.
In the meantime, what you're viewing is firsthand what you saw from the probes, and that is a series of small environments, almost slices of these environments, and it's almost as if it was an animal, and whatever was around that animal came with it, or you assume that the big patch of vegetation has animals within it. So each one, it almost looks like a single sample of a zoo of sorts.
Yeah. Okay.
While you mull that over, Captain is on the bridge taking in all this data that I just passed over. Is there anything that you want to ask before we move on?
No, sorry. I was trying to chat with Merrick, so I didn't even really hear half of it. But if there's anything really vital that you need to let me know. Otherwise, let the XO command the mission for now.
Okay, very good. You did hear about the squids, right?
Yeah, there was a bunch of squids in the middle of the derelict, I presume.
Yeah.
Okay.
All floating around the center of it.
But they're also suspended.
Yeah, they're just bouncing around as the probes go past them.
How big are they?
6, 7, 8 foot long.
So like big squids, not colossal, but
no, they're just humanish.
Man size, yeah.
Like 13 tentacles, a bunch of different eyes all over. Not terribly symmetrical, and they don't exactly look like each other. Each one's a little different.
They're not in the environments, they're just in the middle of the ship. So I would maybe just pass a recommendation that you should try to get some scans of that life form. They may be the original crew of this vessel.
Okay, so here we go. Valcor, Nock, Exo, Carson, Swan, and Shakur. I am rolling for Carson, Swan, and Shakur, and Valcor rolls for himself. So I need sanity checks.
Okay.
And sanity checks can be classic sanity checks, as in, oh my God, what did I just see? It can also be due to mental stress and strain, or it could be some sense of foreboding. But in this case, it is a little bit of all of that.
Okay. Which one is that? Is that focus?
2d6, and you get to add any bonuses for focus. So what's your focus?
Okay. My focus is 9.
Okay, so you have plus 0.
Plus 0, yeah. Okay.
I got a 9.
I got a 7.
All right, so knock is good. If you succeed, then you take 1 hit.
All right. Well, I take 0 because of my spacer.
Because you can resist stress. Well done, sir. That's a good stalwart. It's a great one. Okay, so that is knock, and that was a success. Valcor, I'm rolling for him, I assume. And he succeeds, so he takes 1. Boof. XO, did you succeed?
So a success is 8 or more?
8 or more.
No, I get a 7.
Okay, you fail, you take 2. So what you do is you go to your stats of intelligence, education, and or focus, and you temporarily remove 2 points from any of those.
Mechanically speaking, sorry to interject,
yes.
Could he use luck in any way? Could he spend a point of luck to make it an 8, or could he?
Absolutely. In the case of luck, what you can do is you can use points directly from your luck to pad your roll and succeed, or you may spend 1 point and re-roll, but you can't do both for that single challenge.
Is it on a 1-to-1 basis for adding to it, or?
Correct. You can either add 1-to-1 or spend 1 point and re-roll and take what you get.
Well, 1 is a guarantee, so I'll just spend the 1 to add 1.
Okay, so you succeed. So you take 1 point that comes off of your intelligence, your education, or your focus.
Okay.
And it's temporary. You will get it back, but you need to notate it. And at any point you go below 7, let me know.
Yeah. I took it off education. So
Okay.
bring me down to a 10. So I have 10, 10, 9. Okay.
Okay, so Carson failed. And S1 succeeded, takes 1. And Shakur passed, so he takes 1. Okay, so that's everybody. Valcor passed. All right, very good. All right, so you basically went in 100 yards, and there's a boom, boom, boom. There's a sense of foreboding and uneasiness, and then the data coming in with the squids and so forth. Like it could be the crew.
Was there any obvious trigger for this event?
It appears not.
Okay.
As you continue.
So it's just I get a bad feeling about this.
Right, exactly. You're circling back. You're circling back in, and if you're continuing on, I'm assuming you're continuing on.
Yeah. I make sure everyone has their vac suits on.
All right, so a helmet up. Everybody helmets up.
Does this shuttle have any kind of offensive or defensive capabilities?
Nope, it's just a shuttle.
Okay.
Well, it's defensive as it's armored. Until it's not.
I mean, obviously, you have itself, but I just meant
it doesn't have shields or anything like that. It's just it's just a shuttle.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I will. I'm going to slow down when we come to the area with the squids.
Oh, you have a long way to go. You're only 100 yards in. Okay, so the captain is going to be the first one to react to the data coming in because she is so great with the analyzing of the data, and there's something new. Whoever's background noise is that, cut that off so I can do this.
What background noise?
You don't hear that buzzing?
I don't hear any buzzing.
Okay,
I did.
Maybe it's my brain. There are 3 enormous entities dead center in the middle of the rod, and the probes have just reached that point, and they cannot continue further because the 3 entities plus an orb in the center of the 3 take up the majority of the space. So to have for that the probes to pass any further would require specialty rolls. So the data coming in is a horrifying series of info, and assuming that everyone is paying attention in some way or another, everyone making a sanity check.
Okay.
So give me a sanity check.
That includes us in the shuttle?
Everybody is taking information.
Everybody. All right.
Another one.
So refresh my memory. That is 2d6 plus focus modifier, right?
Correct.
9.
I got a 10 this time.
If you
difficult?
Yeah. If you succeed, you tick off 1.
Okay.
Not only do I not succeed, but I rolled snake eyes.
Okay. Snake. So you're going to take 2.
I seize command. No.
Yeah. You take you take 2 points off from in some measure from your intelligence, education, and focus.
I'll take them both off intelligence. That drops to an 8.
Okay. And your next challenge will be at disadvantage, and you lose a point of luck. Not permanently, just currently.
No problem. Yep. Grant.
And note, because of the failure, that your next, if there is a next sanity check, starts at a -1. Okay.
My next sanity check is at a -1. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. And what else did I want to say? Okay, cool. Yep, that's it.
Did I hear Rob? Is he back?
Yeah, I've been back. I just had to do something. And
Okay.
You're really quiet. Are you far away from your mic?
Yeah, I get a little closer. Hold on.
You're okay. Rob, did you do a check for? Did Valcor do a check for sanity?
Yeah, he got a 3.
A 3? Okay, so you take 2.
Oh, did you roll snake eyes as well? Or did you just roll 3?
He had a total of 3. So currently, right now, he succeeded once into the check, and the second one he failed. So from this point on, you're -1 to any other sanity checks, and you have taken 3 points total from intelligence, education, or focus. So I would have thought one right down the line, one from each. But it's completely up to you, and it's temporary. It's a temporary loss, but it shows a manner of attrition. Okay,
that's
so
the best bet. Yeah, just one from each. That's good.
okay, so Valcor's at -1. Knock, what did you get?
9,
You succeeded, so you take 1,
but I don't.
but you don't because you're tough. Very good. See, that's a great thing to have, especially in something like this. Okay, so
You're good at keeping a level head in a crisis situation. huh?
exactly, yeah, it's pretty funny, right? XO,
Apologies, I mean the Nagasan.
what did you get, XO?
I had gotten a 10.
All right, so you ended up taking 1.
Yeah.
With your success. So that's a total of 2 that you've taken, right?
Yes. Yep.
S1 Carson failed again, takes 4, and he's at -2. S1 failed, he's at -1, took 3. Shakur passed, and he loses 1. Okay, so the description that you got, we're just going to say at the north position is an enormous entity, and it seems to be a mass of thousands of tentacles. There are some unsettling pupilless eyes set in amongst in a haphazard, abstract sort of way, and no rhyme or reason to it. But the majority of it is a mass of tentacles. And then to the lower right, or the southeast, there is a equal size shape, and it has very short, stubby little tentacles, but it is encompassing thousands of eyes, all different shapes and sizes, but they're all pupilless, the same as the other one, and it's just floating there. And to
Ready and
the,
arm all photon torpedoes.
and to the southwest is another mass of the exact same size within context, and it has even smaller tentacles, and it has no eyes, but it has thousands and thousands of raised nodules, almost like a coral, something like a soft coral. The whole thing is just covered in all these little nodules. There's no movement, and there's an orb in the center, and the orb has 3 partitions to it, and the partitions definitely form a triskelion, 3 divisions, each one facing one of these entities.
Okay, so presumably the controls, I guess, maybe.
Perhaps that's in the center of the ship, and the probes have stopped. They can't go any further unless we try to go bypass these, which require a skilled drone roll for each one. What are we going to do with those?
That's an order, patrolman. Ready and arm all photon torpedoes.
Aye, aye, Captain. They're armed.
I want a detailed scan of these life forms. Are they obviously dead, or are they just inert, suspended, that kind of thing?
They are as inert as the squids that were floating around, the hundreds of squids. Now that's in the center of the ship. You're currently crossing over into the 200 yards in. If you've continued moving forward, we'll continue to move forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull us out of the spiral, and I want to still kind of cling to an edge, but I'm gonna roll us over, and I want to get us close. I want to go get us toward that middle, fairly quickly. Not in a kind of a threatening way, like charging in, but with the sightseeing of some of these pods is kind of over. I think this is clearly something that we need to investigate.
Okay,
And from the ship, can we maneuver the probes to get beyond these entities?
you can give me just a second. I want to clarify something for the XO.
I understand.
Basically, with 100 yards past, you're looking at 87 sections of 100 yards to get to the center. You can get there pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
So think about how soon you want to get there and let me know based upon the remaining 87 spaces. And I'll go back to the captain. Yes,
Okay.
Captain, we can try to pilot them through between them if that is what you desire. Captain.
Sorry, I had a crisis. My headphones just died while I was in the room.
No worries.
What did you say to me? I thought you were talking to Alex when.
Yeah, we came back to the captain. Yes, Captain, we can indeed pilot them through. Give me half a second. I gotta run out. I know it's crazy. I gotta bring my chickens in. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity to go to the bathroom real quick.
All right.
So John must be getting stressed out. He needs his chickens.
That's right. They are companion animals, aren't they?
Yeah. He must be stressing him out in the game. He might need to have his chickens around.
Yeah, that sucked. I was cooking dinner in the kitchen and my headphones died. And apparently, the default for my laptop speakers was on 100%. So it's crazy amount of sound coming from my living room. I had to run to real quick.
Wow. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I had to drop out for a bit. I had a little coughing spell, so I didn't want to interfere with the games.
All ready to go.
Woo. You know, Captain, if you can beam us out, I can just set the shuttle on overload right here. Just saying. I'll back you up on that.
I'll keep that under advisement. The only reason I ordered armed and ready is because we have a possible, alien life form.
Yep.
That we don't know its intentions or
All right, back.
or
Sorry.
and also I just fumbled on a sanity roll, so it seemed like
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Fire everything.
so
We
let's,
also
go,
know
let's,
the
go,
value of the animal.
let's go back to the drones. Captain, did you want us to try to pilot the drones through these entities?
Yes, let me grab my dice. 1 second.
Entities.
I'm sorry. What did he say?
I don't know.
I had left them behind in the kitchen when I rushed to deal with my sound issues. Yes. Okay. What do I need to roll?
You're going to be rolling for the command, the ship side of the house, which means this is a ship's roll, so it's going to be an advantage from that previous one. 3d6. Do you have any sort? You know what? The ship has piloting, so just 8 or better with advantage.
I have 11.
Perfect. All 3 drones make it through. They just have to get through. And on the other side are another series of hundreds of those 6, 7, and 8 foot squidlings that it passes through. And as it passes through, the immediate thing that you see is more of the same. A whole series of honeycomb that continue on as far as you can see to the end of the ship. And it's
any reaction from the large eldritch entities in the center.
passed right by them without notification at all.
Okay, good to know. Just keep
Okay,
on
so
collecting
Commander,
data, and I'll also check to make sure that those torpedoes are ready to go just in case.
they are armed and ready. Commander Kant, you had 87 sections to consider. It is a shuttle. It could cover all 87 if you wanted to immediately, allowing for some slowdown time, or you can take it one at a time. Completely up to you.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna accelerate to say let's say double our speed.
Let's just deal with sections. You've gone in
Okay.
one section, and there's 87 remaining to get to the middle. How many would you like to be at the end of this decision? You may be all the way if you want to.
Yeah, I don't want to come charging in like a missile. I don't, because if there is any defense mechanisms, it could take it as a threat. So what I'm going to do is I'll take them 10. How about 10 at a time?
10 at a time. Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, as you storm through, you get a sensation of everyone on the ship gets a sensation of nausea, indigestion, migraine, perhaps even a nightmare. Almost like you instantaneously caught the flu, and you're dealing with all the symptoms all at once. So let's get a sanity check again. But if you had any minuses, note that, and minus 10.
So minus 10 from whatever we roll?
Plus whatever any minuses that you had before. So,
okay.
Dramatically speaking, I'm going to take the role of Carson, who already had a 2, and Carson screams. Ah! And Essen also screams, "Oh, no, 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 no." Shakur fails and covers up his antennas. Oh, no, 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 no. Next.
I rolled 8, so that means I guess I was succeeded, but then take 10 off that, and it's in the negative numbers, so I assume I take 2.
You take 2, and unfortunately, you're now at negative 11 for your next roll. Knock.
Yep.
You failed, of course.
Wait, I failed?
I don't know. Did you?
No, I got a 11.
An 11?
Wait, no, a 10. Sorry.
All right, so you have a 0. So you failed, and you take 2, but you only take 1.
Okay.
And from this point on, you're minus 10 to your roll. XO,
yeah.
you took 1, correct? So you're down to 3?
3 what?
You've taken you failed the last one, so you took 2, so you're down to 4. So you've taken.
I've been taking it off the various ones. So right now my intelligence is 9, education 9, focus of 8.
Okay, so Carson, being an NPC, he took all of his in 1, and Carson is now stunned. Carson slumps over in his chair. Aswan also slumps over in his chair. They're both stunned. Their life readings are still good, but they're out. So far on the ship, Shakur, Valcor, and Nock and the XO are up, but they are damaged. Now,
I rolled an 8 on this one. Because I hadn't told you what I rolled yet. Right?
Right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got an 8, so minus
Yeah,
10. Minus 10. You're negative 2.
Right.
So what happened was it was in like a classic Willy Wonka factory on the boat ride. You go through there, and it was just streaming nightmares and visions just compressed all at once as you're passing through. And you also take 2 points, and you're going to be at minus 11 for your next check, Valcor.
Okay.
So you have you gone below 7 on any of your stats?
Yeah. Actually, the last one I did, because I took one off from everyone, right? The last time.
Great, 1
So,
point.
Yeah.
Just of your intelligence, education, and focus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, those were okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, just those 3.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I can still go down on those, except for, let's see, you said intelligence, focus, and what was the third one?
Education.
Education. Okay. I can't go any further down on education.
Or you have a 0?
No, I meant so far as going below what you said.
Okay, so when you get to 6s, just let me know. And if you get to a 0 in any of them, some
Okay.
cool stuff happens. Just let me know
So,
when you're ready.
On education, he would be 6 right now. Because there's 2. He has an 8, and so there'll be 2 left. Yeah.
Okay, when you go to 6, you're at -1. And if you go to 5, you're still at -1. Then and 4 and 3, you go to -2. And then 2, you're -3.
Oh, okay.
But other stuff's going to happen if you go to 0 in any of your mental.
Okay.
Okay, so Captain, you hear screaming and life signs are fluctuating, and the ship made movement within the rod, and
The rod itself moved.
no. I'm talking to the captain. So
I am the captain.
I'm sorry, you were echoing. I thought it was one of the other guys. No,
Yeah,
the
because
rod,
my headphones died.
the rod did not react in any way. Nothing's reacted in any way, except for the crew of the shuttle, which when they accelerated towards the center, there was a great deal of drama and trauma on board the shuttle.
I have no readings to tell me why.
Yeah, their mental facilities are stressed out to the extreme.
I get on the console. What's going on over there, XO?
Not entirely sure. Whatever's in the center of this thing, it's reacting to our presence. I recommend pulling back with our away team and continuing scans with probes. I'm going to plot a trajectory out of here, and on auto, basically put it on autopilot. And I'll have it stop just outside if I don't maintain control. I'm in control right now, but if we get another hit like that, I don't know. I can't guarantee that. So I'm going to basically program the shuttle to.
Yeah, it's okay. That's enough explanation. Just get back here on the double.
Yeah. All right.
Now it is a shuttle. It's a space shuttle. You can be out of there in this action. You can be out for sure. All right, so that's what we're doing. We're getting out of there.
I want to make sure we can get a good scan, basically, of the console, particularly, and the creatures at it. As we turn, I want all sensors to, basically see what we can pick up from the, from this center control area. But yeah, I'm turning around and leaving.
and we're raising shields.
Raising shields. Okay, so in context, if you had a decision, your decision is to scan first, and then your next action leave, or leave and then scan on your way out. Try.
Well, basically, leave scan on the way out, I guess, would be the
more very good.
Accurate.
Okay, very good. So we're just going to do. I'm going to have everybody roll for your checks. All I'm looking for is to see everyone's going to fail. So all I'm looking for to see is if you roll 2s. I'm just looking to see if you roll natural 2s or natural 12s.
Yeah. No natural 2 or 12. for Kent.
Knock.
4.
And Valcor.
So I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So I rolled 3 d6s, correct?
You're rolling 2 d6s right now.
Okay, 2 d6s.
And we're just making sure you don't roll 2s or 12s.
I rolled a 5 and a 3.
Okay, all right. You take another 2 points.
Incoming transmission.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody takes 2 points
Hello.
off of.
Hi, Robin. This is Ginger.
Hi.
Is Alicia there?
Yeah.
I muted him. Go ahead. Continue, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody takes 2 points off. Knock would
Okay.
take 1 point off, and you would be at significant disadvantages for the next one. You get out, and as you do, the nightmares and the nausea and all that, all the waves of that fade away, and all you're left with is the remains of the day of what it felt like, and it feels like someone just reached in and wire brushed you from the inside of your brain.
Knock is going to be holding his head, kind of like moving, wobbling around, be like, "No, we have to go back. The prophets. We must get the prophet."
Sorry, Ambassador. This looks like this mission is a bust.
Can I be monitoring their transmission, or monitoring their?
Absolutely, and as you do,
what the hell is he talking about? Oh, prophets. Sorry, I thought he meant prophets.
Yeah, not prophets. Yes,
if he gives any resistance,
those are ancient gods to the.
If he gives any resistance, I want Carson to.
The probes do
subdue him.
The probes and the passing sensors on the way out do catch a last bit of data, and that is that the squidlings are in movement. They're blown past the pods or the probes on the right side, heading towards that entrance, and the other ones are heading back towards the other entrance.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're going to get back to the ship as soon as possible.
You're there.
Yeah, the probes are still inside, right? So
the probes are inside, and they are noting that on that side that the squidlings are heading towards the far right end.
So they're basically trying to leave the cylinder.
Correct.
Okay.
So I want to keep the probes inside anyway, so we have some kind of a connection to what's going on inside.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to take off my helmet, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to take time to take off my vac suit, and I just head right for the bridge.
Okay. Did anybody suffer?
Oh, you're back aboard. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody got to a 0, correct? As far as the mental stats. No. Did anybody drop below 7? Are they in the 6s and the 5s?
Nope. I was able to distribute it, so I got down to 3/8. So.
Very good. Okay. Very good.
I just had that 1 6
drop
in education.
To a 6. Okay. Very good. If it comes down to it, the way that would work is that would provide a -1 to any sort of skill base that is education based.
Yeah.
So anything you would have learned in an academic sense. Okay. So Carson and Aswan are out. They're stunned. So they're going to require medical attention to recover from the stunning.
Yeah,
Lieutenant Marks will be down there to take care of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Along with hold on, I'm looking for the name. Security officers there. Where's the other security guy? Oh, I thought we had another security guy.
Shakur went. Valcor went. The security officer went.
Yeah, I thought we had another security officer, but I guess we don't. Okay.
No, there is no other security. He is the security team.
Yeah. So I'll have Marks and Russell meet them down there to take care of any wounded, etc.
And I'll say, Valker, can you please see the safety of Ambassador Knock? Get him to his room and secure him.
Captain, you have to see this.
What?
And he shows the display, and it's squidlings pouring out of either end of the rod.
Right. Okay. Well, obviously we raised shields again as soon as they were aboard.
Of course.
Now we're going to arm all phasers and work on torpedoes, and we are moving away. What speed are the squids moving at?
Well, they're moving at space squid speed, slow.
We are moving away at space squid speed.
Yeah, they're kind of swimming through space.
Yeah.
They're
I wasn't sure. Who knows? They might be warp speed squid.
No. They're just doing their swimming through space thing.
Nothing worse than a warp speed mollusk.
Right. Space cephalopods.
So we're going to match their speed and just move away.
I just want to say that this scenario is highly homoerotic. Yeah. I get to the bridge.
You easily put distance between yourselves and the rod for sure.
I want Patrolman Harrow and Patrolman Total to be recovering all the information from the memory cores of the shuttle, because they're both technicians. They can probably do so, in a secure way, just to make sure there's no corruption, no damage, etc.
Have we tried to open a hailing frequency?
You have not.
Let's try right now. Smith, hail them. Well, hail it.
He sends out a broadband hail.
This is Captain Ebrea of the GSPS Europa, representative of the Galactic Federation of Planets. We come in peace, and we mean you no harm. Please identify yourself and your intentions.
I immediately get to the science station and I'm scanning specifically for any kind of weaponry, shields, sensors, anything like that. I'm keeping an eye on the squid too, but
the squids have seemed to just branch back off and are heading back towards the rod. Obviously, they can't clear the distance because you passed them up and you left them in the dust. But you are getting energy readings, and everyone can see this, especially our analyst specialist. And with the analyst specialty, being the captain having a 9, I don't even need the roll. At the center,
I could roll 2 1s.
You could, but this is just data. You don't need to.
Right.
This is not a challenge.
Okay.
It's pulsing.
The center of the rod.
Yep, and it's
call it the vessel.
It's phasing down like a ripple, and going to the end.
Is it visible light or distortion, or
it seems to be a distortion?
Well, Commander, it looks like you woke it up.
And Smith is staring blankly. And Captain, you got to hear this.
We'll put it on.
And Smith screams, "Ah!"
For fuck's sake. What is it? Turn it down and try to put it through a translator.
Yeah, the universal translator.
The translator goes,
All right, shut it off. What happened to Smith? He just screamed, or is he like? Has he fallen out of his chair? Is he still reacting?
He just dropped the little mic that he had to his ear in classic old school tech form.
Gotcha.
And he looked shaken.
By the way, guys, I have about 10 more minutes. I can
Vroom, 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 and the pulse increases in speed.
Yeah, I think we should. What are the energy levels looking like?
The energy levels are all over the charts, just like you were when you were monitoring the inside, how it had all the different types of radiations at the same time in various degrees.
Recommend we get some extra distance, Captain.
Launch another probe. Set course back for Earth space. Maximum warp. Engage.
Yeah, that's 7 months from now. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't care about that. I'm just saying we're moving away from it at full speed.
Absolutely. And
after we launch another probe, so we can at least get some more readings a little bit.
Right. So the fourth probe is at distance, and the other 3 probes were at close.
The other 3 probes are inside, right?
They were. Those 3 probes wink out.
Okay, that's fine.
They were destroyed.
Not surprised.
But the probe at distance does show you a very dramatic drum, 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 and it shows the pulsing, and then it stops pulsing, and it all just has a reverberating sensation, and it winks out, and it's gone.
The probe is gone, or the vessel's gone?
The vessel's gone. The probe's in space by itself.
Okay, all full stop. Bring us about. Take us back to that probe.
Did it warp, or was it a? Did it look like a warp to us, or was it more of a
of all the data that you got coming in, which is tons of data
Yeah.
coming in. And again, you have a specialist on board. Yes, at some point it did have a warp field, and at another point it had some other kind of like almost like your cloaking device field,
Okay.
and it had every other type of field that you can think of at the same time.
Okay.
Fascinating.
I make sure that the whatever recorded from it, especially the language wise, is archived.
Of course, all the
If we have
data.
any,
from the
if we have any
shuttle.
if we have any linguists on board, I'd like to get them on that as soon as possible.
Sure. Yeah. Plug it into the computer, and you don't have a linguist per se.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it will probably be done by when we get back to
exactly. Yeah.
to fleet headquarters. But for now, we can at least get them kind of, preliminary work done.
Okay. So obviously, our ambassador is extremely disappointed.
Oh.
Extremely.
And so we go back to the same location. Is that what we're doing?
Well, going to pick up the probe, I think was with the plan, right?
Yeah, that's
Captain?
what he requested.
Okay, so you get back to where the probe was, and the only thing that's out there, because it's the void, there is nothing to speak of out there. It's just a void. But there is the remains of like a shell of that calcified rock, that bit of space debris, almost like a mold or a husk of the
So it just
the
basically it almost like teleported from within it, right?
exactly. It
Shell.
basically just winked out from where it was and left that rock behind.
Okay,
Hear me now?
a little bit. Yep, you're Lala.
It's this stupid fucking, because my headset died. It's a damn laptop mic again. So anyway, yeah, I just want to get any scans or any kind of residual energy left behind, etc. Any signs of maybe where it went, or anything of that sort. If we can trace a warp signature, the standard protocol stuff to try to collect as much data as possible.
Absolutely.
I also recommend transporting a sample of that rock aboard that was enclosing it. I mean, it might just
Of
be
course, with
normal
full
space
quarantine
debris, but
protocols.
we might get a little bit of information from it. Any residual?
Sure.
any
Yeah,
residual.
absolutely. You could use the shuttle. You could use the probes. You teleport pieces on. You can definitely get as much of that rock as you want.
Yep.
You can spend a couple days and just gather just tons of data. And there is tons of data to gather. Every second rock seems to have a different type of radiation on it.
And we'll get a sample of that squid that's secretly attached to the inside of the shuttle. Do you
No,
think we'd know about?
No, there was no squid on the outside of the shuttle.
I know.
Y'all didn't make any contact with the squid, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah. We'll make sure we follow full quarantine protocols, of course.
Yeah.
What
With the rockets.
would we be able to know if it was in this area, if it was even cloaked? Or would we have an ability to detect it even through its cloaking?
Based on your cloaking technology and the information that you had gathered before and extrapolating all that and working your brain as you would have through that whole process, you have a very strong sense that you would be able to measure it in some way, even if it was just 1%. And it appears by all ways that you can measure that it simply disappeared.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and if it were just cloak, then it would be, it'd be a pretty crappy cloak to be like hide itself and then still be within the husk, for example.
Right. The rocks are free floating now. Once you moved one and it bumped into another, they kept bumping into another, and now they've actually.
So it's kind of breaking up. It would keep its general shape, kind of thing.
Exactly,
but it would start to disperse. Yeah.
The pieces that were open, not connected or cracked or whatever, now they're moving away in big chunks.
Given a few years or whatever, it'll all be in somewhat one kind of amorphous clump, probably.
Sure.
There's no gravity nearby. But we'll take some samples from different parts of it, particularly any that were touching the hull of the ship. Take some from the outside.
Absolutely.
Take any other readings. That kind of
now,
thing.
obviously, the ones that were on the inside are completely smooth.
Right. Well, and even on a microscopic level, that might tell us something about the texture of the hull.
There's tons and tons of data. So it's not what
So
you'd hope for.
I recommend we spend at least a few hours gathering what we
Days.
can.
Yeah, you
Or
can
days
spend.
even,
Yeah, you can spend a couple days gathering data
Yeah.
for sure.
We don't seem to be in any threat at the moment, so
We didn't bring in any pieces of that rock, though, right?
Yeah.
I did hear that we teleported it in,
Yeah.
but we kept to the protocols.
right. Yeah, it was teleported directly into a secure location.
Containment unit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what I did to the spaceship that one time.
Exactly. Yeah, all protocols were met.
Yep.
Okay, I believe somebody said they had to bail.
Yeah, I got a hard day. I get probably a couple minutes, but I'll probably have a private conversation with Valcor once everything calms down, and we'll discuss protocols a bit.
Anyway, so ending the adventure. Nobody died. We did have a couple of insanity issues to manage. And mechanically, the way that it works is if you go to 0 in a physical stat, you're stunned. If you get 2 zeros, you're unconscious. You get 3 zeros, you're dead. If you go or you're dying. If you go to 0 in your mental faculties, what happens if you get one single 0, you reach an emotional or mental instability, and you get -3 to all actions. Any and all actions, and you roll at disadvantage. If you go to 0 in any 2 mental faculties, you go into a mental breakdown, and you're -6 to all actions, rolling with disadvantage. And if you go to 3 in all 3 of them, you would end up in emotional mental shutdown or being catatonic, and you'd be inactive. You'd be essentially brain dead at that point.
All right, cool.
Right.
There's a whole series of ways to recover your sanity, and it takes time. But your people aren't. They were just put to 0 in one category, so they'll be fine. They just need time to recover.
Now is sanity going to be a normal, like a big part of this, or was that just this particular scenario?
I use sanity a lot to reflect mental stress and the ambiguity of everything combined, as well as some kind of horrible thing.
Because I was going to say, if you're in terms of game, what do you call it? Game terminology, at least in this Trek homage, calling it stress might make more sense.
I did have stress. I have it written as stress. And
because again, well, I mean, and again, maybe it's because I'm so accustomed to Call of Cthulhu. Sanity checks imply
in this case,
you're free. Yeah. Well, yeah, in this case, I guess it's kind of
and most surely in this case, it did reflect. I do have it listed as stress, but I wanted to use for the people that we were using the core group. I said sanity to instill the dread.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious because it's because you see in the old Trek, you would see people getting stressed. You would see people, reaching their limits, and suddenly they're not able to function, or they freeze up in a crisis, or whatever.
Yeah,
happens
absolutely.
To be.
Yeah, what you got, what you ended up here with, mechanically speaking, for the setting, was that there were 88 stages that you could go through, and each 100 yards, due to all of the containment sections and all that.
Yeah.
That's what was tearing away at your sanity. Was all
right. Well, I guess I'm going to end the broadcast then. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, I was going to share that with the